Growing up, I didn't have a lot of things, but I always felt that my family worked for everything they had, and I think that carried over with me. I wouldn't say I'm physically gifted. I can't run or jump. Practice, practice, practice. Every time I go to the free throw line, I think all net. So no matter how hard you work or how hard you try, there's always somebody out there a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. I don't know why God chose me to play professional basketball, but thank God he did.
Proudly presents the North Carolina System, featuring North Carolina head coach Dean Smith with former North Carolina assistants Eddie Fogler and Roy Williams. This program is designed to give coaches at all levels a basic knowledge of the North Carolina individual and team methods.
Some young people have the right attitude, knowing that it's a very crucial part of being a basketball player, being a complete basketball player. Unfortunately, they don't get their name in headlines nearly as much if you do a great job defensively as they do if they score a few times. But yet, if a young man or a young woman wants to make their team, I think every coach has his eye on someone who could keep someone from getting the ball or scoring. You would find a place on your team for that person. And we believe at the University of North Carolina it's essential that you know how to play defense individually on the ball, know how to play defense away from the ball, because we very much play a team defense. However, here, what we want to talk about is the individual, his or her ability to play one-on-one, like in the schoolyard, have some fun playing one-on-one, and do a good job defensively. So there's many things and methods to teach this, but it's very important from the attitude standpoint that you want to play defense, you enjoy playing defense, and if you have that type of attitude, then with some ability you can become a good defensive player. And I think one of the great things to think about is our former player Michael Jordan, who made the best defensive player in the NBA, in addition to being the leading scorer, to prove that you can be an all-around player. I think it takes a lot of drilling and habits formed to be a great defensive player. Some young men can come out with their own native ability of being able to move their feet and be adequate defensively, but to be really special, to be on a great defensive team, you need every individual working very hard, because if one lets down, it hurts the entire team defense. First, in sliding your feet defensively, we do have them get down in what we call our basic defensive stance. One foot ahead of the other. Say the right foot is forward, right foot is forward. Notice the knees are bent, a good width here, and of course the hands up because the man has not started dribbling the basketball. Now, if we do dribble the basketball this way, notice the heel toe, the step slide. If you can't get in on this, the step, they stay with me. Here we go. Right in here, we keep the hands in here, heel, toe, all right? And then on the whistle, I'll blow the whistle, we push off this foot, the front foot, and go and swing our right elbow, and then we start going in this direction. Now, we will do this for 2 to 3 minutes a day, building our muscles to stay down. And it's essential in guarding the man with the basketball. By moving the elbow, as I'm going this way, and I'm going to push off this foot, that turning the elbow gives you more leverage to move here. And notice on my right, I go to my right toe to push off. The ball, my right foot, if I'm going my left elbow, I'm pushing off and pivoting on that, and then taking here and going. I never want to do this. A common problem with young people on the defense is they put their feet together and they bob like this. We want the head to stay steady, shoulders steady, right through here. One drill that they can do in the backyard is simply that. that they'll be going up and down the court. Watch Rodney will play Scott, and watch his step slide. Scott will go about 1/2 speed, but he'll work on the same thing we just did without the basketball. Then he'll reverse his dribble. See how Rodney swung the elbow. Now reverse it again. Now Rodney's head, come back, Scott. Rodney's head will be ideally right at the right elbow of the dribbling hand. For instance, if he's dribbling, Scott's dribbling, my head is trying to be right at the right elbow. I don't want him over on the ball because that lets him reverse the ball, reverse the dribble too easily. So his head's right there at the elbow, and he pushes off and really step slide. The only time he should cross his feet would be if Scott gets away from him and he just runs to catch up. All right, now watch Rodney this time take Scott. Okay. All right, now that's guarding the dribbler, and of course there'll be screens and so forth. But the fun thing when you get in one-on-one contest in your backyard or something, guarding the man with a basketball, there are and will be techniques that I think could help you. All right, now Rodney has his right foot forward. Is that one you prefer, Rodney?
Yes, sir.
All right, Rodney has his right foot forward, his right hand is up, and what he has done, he is telling Scott, you better go this way. Now, still, Scott may wish to fake him and what we used to call the rocker move. So Rodney is just staring right at the belt buckle, and if that belt buckle moves, notice what Rodney did? Straight back. In faking to his front foot, most people would just do like this. Most people would do like this, and then they're off balance. They're parallel. I mean, I don't think you can play parallel because if Scott faked me, now what do? I've lost balance, I think. So we do like the 1 foot forward. We're not particular which foot, but whatever's most comfortable. But now, notice if that belt buckle moves, Rodney makes the same move. Now, in order to push off that front foot, he has to do what? Have the weight on the front foot. You can't push off a foot. If you have it on your back foot, it'd take you time to put it here and then go. So right now, he's down good, his hand is up, and if Scott's belt buckle moves, he will go back. Now, fake to his front foot this time, Scott. All right, now notice then if he comes back to shoot, Rodney just comes back the same place and goes, hey, just like that. It's here, hey. And Scott will think he's charging him, but he won't raise up, and then he'll cover him on the drive. Hey! All right, now notice Rodney, as he pushed off here, if he faked to his front foot, he doesn't really, till he really goes, and that's when he pushes off and then cuts him off. Rodney's job is to make Scott go wide. He has team, I hope, help, because it's hard to play defense. You must kind of tell him what to do, not wait and see. Otherwise, if I charge Scott this way, what have I done? I told him to go this way. If I charge him here, I've told him to go this way. If I've laid off of him back here, I've told him to shoot it. If I've gotten up on him right in here, I've told him to drive. So you do take some action, but this is a little trick to be good one-on-one. Maybe the most important part of defense, if they do take a bad shot, you have to box out so they don't get the second shot. So let's do one more and then be sure we get the box out. Push off that front foot, yeah. Hey. Move in, box. All right, good box out.
To be an effective rebounder, you must anticipate the shot. Find your man, get him on your back, maintain contact, then attack the ball.
Now, the easiest way, if you want to stop somebody from scoring, the easiest way is don't let him have the basketball. How many guys you know can score without the ball? Now watch Rodney, if you will, as the man over here is moves without the ball. His head stays still. He moves his feet to change position, pointing at the ball and at the basket. Now, as I get the pass from David, now it's one look at. He moves out and he's in the passing lane. He isn't going to let Scott get the ball. Notice how Rodney will come out. As I get it, he'll go 2 very hard steps, and then now he's under control into the last one. All right, let's try that. And then go ahead and play if I get you the ball. All right, play. Good. See, he won't take the fake. We're making. Now watch Rodney when I throw it. This go right. Yeah. See, he's back to that same position. He has to see both man and ball at all times, and believe me, that's extremely difficult. We believe when there's doubt, you choose man, but it should only be for a fraction of a second. For instance, come in here, Scott, on the post. All right, you're defending the post. All right, he's around, we're around on the post. All right, now, on the pass down this way, David's going to pass to me. Rodney just continue to come on through. Rodney will continue on through. He's right here. And on that pass, he goes like this, and just a fraction he has lost, for a fraction he has lost sight of the ball. Instead of turning looking at the ball and feeling for the man, we think when in doubt, when he can't see both man and ball, he is going to stay with the man. So we'll watch this. Now, Rodney, I have the ball here. Rodney's, look at him giving room. You don't want to get too close where he can be held. He's up clearly just the same as he was out on the court. Now on this pass, Rodney's going to go hard. That's it. Now back to me. Hard. That's it. All right. Good. All right. All right. One pass away from the basketball. Now, this is a fun drill that you might try in your backyard. See how long, say you cannot reverse to get the ball. All right. David, pass to me over here. We're going to keep Rodney's going to keep Scott from getting it. All right, play. For 1,001, 1,002. See, notice he's going to lose sight of the ball. Good. All right, now. Open up, good. All right, turn around. Let's see if Scott can keep Rodney from getting it. Here we go. Good. See, good. I can't get it to him. All right, now, Rodney isn't going to score much if he doesn't have the basketball. You got to have that. So if you really want to be a good defensive player, you don't even let your man receive the ball, and yet you're off helping your teammate. All right, now we're bringing a third person into this because it's hard to really play one man with the basketball, particularly though if he gets a screen. And of course you do need help from the fourth man, but we think it's even more of a challenge for them to be able to handle the screen. Rodney will handle the screen and still guard Scott. Now David's going to pass Scott the basketball. We'll walk slowly through it. All right, and as he's approaching, David's man would be yelling pick. Now Rodney can do anything. He's still playing just like we showed earlier. But what Rodney has to know, he's got to be sure he goes this way, because David's man would be out here ready, pretending he's going to double team. And that, as Scott starts, that would make Scott go wide, and that gives him time to go through. But since David won't have a man guarding him, Rodney's got to be sure he doesn't get beat. Let's say Scott faked this way, Rodney came this way, and he went. Now there's two people out of the picture. So guarding the man, screen at the point of the ball, we're going to show is that without anybody helping, Rodney's got to be sure he starts this way, and then as Scott tries to cut off here, Rodney makes himself thin and gets over the top and continues to guard him. We don't want him to slide behind, because in our league these guys can shoot the ball extremely well. But let's see if Rodney can do this. We're practicing it. All right, go ahead. All right, now get the. All right, now you got the ball. Hurry. Good. At the end of a dribble, just what you saw Rodney do recently, when he's driving, Rodney's step sliding, stand with him, and now as he picks it in, he moves right in like this, because we call that the used position. His dribble is used. He can't go anywhere. And we're going to clamp the outlets, but we're going to make the pass very difficult. If he goes up to shoot, again, Rodney would be right in tight on him and be a difficult shot. So we'll let him dribble around and don't, use your dribble and watch Rodney move in. All right, doesn't want him to get it. All right, now good. Notice how we use. It's very important, I think, to communicate, talk, and that's one of the buzzwords we have. As a man uses his dribble, he moves in, used.
To integrate the North Carolina system in totally is extremely tough. It is multiple. There's a lot to it. And I would recommend that you don't try to take it all, but maybe take a part or two parts of it and put it into your system. Maybe the following year, add another part to it. I think it's also important that each coach be himself. I'm not Coach Smith. I've modified the multiple system to a degree. I'm sure Roy has at Kansas. That be yourself, coach your style, but certainly there are things within this system that perhaps every coach can use within his own system. Well, certainly having the good fortune to be involved with a North Carolina basketball program for 19 years as a coach and a student athlete for Coach Smith, I certainly have been able to take many of his ideas to Wichita State and now Vanderbilt University, and the system is an outstanding one and one that I think is fun for players and coaches to work with. It is a multiple offensive and defensive system that I too try to run as Coach Smith does at North Carolina. We just don't do it as well. But what I'd like to do today is give you an overall view of the multiple defenses within our system and how you might use these for your basketball team next year. We are a multiple defensive system where we play a number of different defenses. The first defense we work on in practice for good solid 4 weeks before we do anything else is our 20 defensive system. Pressure man-to-man, keep you from doing what you want to do, taking you out of your offense and taking away your practice time as you try to prepare offensively. Certainly within this system we do the 4-on-4 shell drills that all of you I'm sure do. We do a lot of work on pivot defense. We do a lot of one-on-one defensive work as well, and there are breakdown drills within this 20 defense to make a player better individually and to build our team defense. We are very much a team defense in our 20 defense, pressure man-to-man. The next defense in our series, our defensive system, would be our 30 defense. When we look man-to-man, we look like 20, but we're really going to go double the dribbler and rotate our players into a 2-2-1 half-court zone press, hoping that you think it's man-to-man and that you're running a man-to-man play now against a zone press. It's very important to, first of all, have pressure on the basketball. Your players must be in the proper man-to-man position in relationship to the ball and their man, good initial position. And now we don't really care which way 0-1 goes, but as soon as he crosses the half-court line, X1 must keep him in that direction. And at that point, we are now going to go and rotate into our 2-2-1 half-court zone press. X3 will come up, leave his man, first man in that direction, under control, and try to come up along with X1 and get a good, tight double team on the dribbler, causing him to pick his dribble up. These two players, X1 and X3, now are called our double teamers. They are double teaming the basketball, hoping to cause the dribbler to pick his dribble up, tight double team, no splits on the double team, and certainly we do not want to foul at this point because we think we have the ball handler in a situation that's advantageous to the defense. We then have to find 3 other spots. We need to fill a spot here, and a spot there. These 2 spots will be called our interceptors. They are trying to intercept the basketball, playing the logical areas, and the back spot would be called our goaltender spot. We fill by the closest people in to those areas. And obviously in this diagram, on this kind of perimeter, X4 would come up and play this interceptor spot, guessing with the pass from 01 perhaps to 03 as X3 left 03 to go and double. The other interceptor spot would be filled in this diagram by X2. X2, he's closest there. And of course the goaltender spot, X5 would just step in, and you could see where we have our two interceptors and our goaltender in this particular diagram. Now obviously this could change depending on the offensive set. I've chosen here to have a kind of a 2-2 offensive set. It would change, players change depending on the set of the offense. And now it's important that we double tight, we're looking to steal, we're playing the obvious pass to 03. X2, the weak side interceptor, is looking for people who are coming in to post up. Most people post up against this type of defense, and we're trying to guess with these passes. X5, no layups. He is back, he's protecting the hole, but certainly could gamble on a long pass, perhaps into the corner area. At that point, we like our defense. We hope that they're not prepared. The offense is kind of running away from the dribbler who is being trapped. And now we are guessing. If the pass is made out and we don't intercept it, our rule for our double teamers is to sprint off double teams. Sprint off. Get behind the ball. Interceptors, sprint back behind the ball. We try to get 5 people behind the basketball. We are now, at that point, almost like defending a fast break. We are talking, we are communicating, we are trying to pick up. The only shot we are giving is the outside jump shot, a quick outside jump shot, and at this point, we are now picking up man-to-man, and 32 defense would become 22 defense at that point. Our 40 defense here in this diagram is similar to 30 defense once the double team is formed, the difference being how we get to the double team. In 40 defense, again, it looks like 20. We're pressuring the basketball, and the first pass made, we will go and double team the pass receiver. X2 guarding 02 would then go to the baseline side to double with X1, whose man made the pass. And now there are our 2 double teamers in 40 defense. We rotate and we play spots. 2 double teamers, 2 closest guys here would be interceptors. There's our goaltender, X2. We have 2 double teamers, 2 interceptors, a goaltender. We are back into a 2-2-1 half-court zone trap at this point, and 40 defense looks like 20, but it really is a trap. And people here might be even running their man-to-man offense, and all of a sudden we're trapping. We're in a trap against a man-to-man offense, and you don't want to run a man-to-man offense against a trap. So it is a good surprise move as well. You could run 44, which would be don't let the ball go in. If it goes in, double right away. You could run 43. Is the first pass over the 3/4 court line. You could run and double that. It's not used very much, but you could. And then, of course, the one that is used the most is 42, which would be 40, double the pass receiver, 2 in the half court. If they make a pass out of this trap and we don't steal it or they don't score, we then 42, just like 32, would become 22 defense. We're back always in 22 defense after they get out of the trap. Our next situation, so we've taken you from 20, 30, 40. In this flexible system, we certainly believe there are times that you play zone. It's not a zone system, but there are times when zones are important in the game, perhaps late when you're in foul trouble. Perhaps a team is not a good outside shooting team. Certainly with the 3-point shot, it's difficult to play a lot of zone, but we do have a zone system, and in this flexible defensive system, it's our 50 defense. 50 defense signals zone. And there are a lot of ways you can do this. 54 would be 50 zone 4 full court. It's been done a number of ways. What I do with that right now is we play a 1-2-1-1 full court zone press. 53 in this system could be a 2-2-1 3/4 court zone press. 52, again, 52 half court, Some people have played the 1-3-1 half court trap. And then 51 is the point zone in the North Carolina system, is the point zone. It could be a 2-3. It could be just any zone that you have, 51 being a straight zone of any kind, matchup or straight 2-3. So you can see again in this system, we can play full court man-to-man to half court man-to-man. We can play zone trap on the dribbler, full court, half court. We can trap the pass receiver, full court, half court. We also can go to our zone series when necessary and play zone presses and a straight zone within our system, depending on our personnel, who we are playing, and what we think the strategy needed would be.
I think when you talk about Coach Smith and his offensive philosophy, the first thing you think of is shot selection. Habitually they'll be in the top of the country every year, the top 3 or 4 in field goal percentage, because they do work very hard to try to get a good shot, and that's something that we've also tried to do here at Kansas, and I think everybody that's been involved with Coach Smith tries to do. And at the same time, that entails not only just getting a good shot, but making sure you have the backboard covered, because what you want is you want to have your best shooters shooting the basketball and their teammates understanding that they're shooting it, so they're getting in a position to rebound. And so it's not just recruiting good shooters, it's having good shooters, letting them shoot, but shooting the shots that they can make and have the backboard covered. I think Coach Smith's philosophy has always been start with the whole method, then break it down and build back up to the whole method. So you're trying to get 5-on-5 basketball, and if you can fast break and gain advantage 5-on-4, 4-on-3, 3-on-2, you're winning there. So we would break it down, 3-lane fast break drill, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and those kind of drills, and then build it up into the 5-on-5 situation and stress not just running up and down the court, but sprinting up and down the court, getting all of your guys, getting our big men running. And I think if you do that over a long period of time, such as Coach Smith's career, what you're doing is you're scoring a lot of points, shooting a high percentage, and that really is fast break basketball, which is unselfish team play and moving it up and down the court at a pace where the fans like it and coaches enjoy watching it. I think the biggest thing when you talk about Roy Williams and what he's taken from Dean Smith, it's almost everything. I'm not the innovator. Coach Smith is the greatest innovator that's ever been in college basketball, and I think that I've stolen just about everything from him, to be honest with you. I've got a great staff that I've been able to pick up some things from them too, but my background is a North Carolina background. I went to school there and then coached there for 10 years, and I believe that's the best way to play. And what I think when I think of the North Carolina philosophy, I think of playing extremely hard. I think of playing unselfishly. I think of trying to play on both ends of the court, getting the best shot you can on offense and trying to make sure that other team doesn't get the best shot when you're on defense. And I think that not only Roy Williams, Eddie Fogler, people that have worked with Dean Smith, but I think what you see is people throughout the entire country have copied things from North Carolina, and coaches are an amazing group because they love the way that Coach Smith's teams have played for such a long time that they're all going to copy that. When we're working with youngsters of any age on shooting, I think there are 4 major areas that we need to talk about. And I've got 3 demonstrators here today that are going to help us as we're working on this, and we'll try to build the shot all the way from the bottom to the top and get to a point where we are actually taking shots at the basket. The first thing when you're going to be a good shooter is you have to have good balance. That means our feet are spread a little bit more than shoulder width apart. If we're a right-handed shooter, then the right foot is going to be slightly in front of our left. The second thing we're going to talk about is concentration. We don't care if you pick the front of the rim, the back of the rim, or the hole, but you're going to pick some spot on that rim, and that's what you're going to concentrate on. The third point we're going to talk about is a full extension, and by that we mean fully extend the arm. It's not going to be a slingshot. We're not going to throw it like this, and the arm is not a lever that we throw. It's going to be a full extension of the arm, and that will give us the kind of action that we need to get into the 4th area. And the 4th thing is a good follow through, and we follow through simply by unlocking the wrist. And so the 4 major areas, again, we're going to be balance, concentrate, extend, and follow through. Now, each of these parts have little things that we need to talk about. For example, if you're going to have a proper follow through, you need to make sure that your index finger splits the middle of the rim. The index finger is your shooting finger. If on your follow-through, if your hand goes to the side like this, you're not going to have a proper shot. What you need to do is make sure that that shooting finger splits the middle of the rim. With youngsters all the time, I tell them that I can take one finger, as you can see behind the ball right here, and I can always keep it on line. I may not make them all, but it won't be off side to side. And so in that case, when we shoot the basketball with a good follow-through, your shooting finger must come down and split the middle of that rim and not turn to the side. Another thing you talk about with the hand position is that the ball will sit on these little pads at the base of your fingers. It will not be down in here in the palm. So if you're shooting the basketball properly, you're going to have this kind of look where you have the opening, the little cup underneath there. The ball will not be sitting straight down on the palm of the hand like that. Also, what that does is that enables you to get good backspin on the shot. When you shoot the basketball properly, you have to have a tremendous amount of backspin. That allows the ball to land up on the rim and bounce around, and some of those will fall through even if it doesn't hit dead center. Okay, fellas, now what I want everybody to do here, just drop your arms down to the side. All right, now from that point, bring your right hand up just like this. Okay, now then, that's the kind of alignment that you should have right there. Your right elbow is directly underneath. Now your left hand is your guide hand. So what we want you to do with that is bring that hand up beside it. And what that would do will merely guide the basketball, because when the ball goes past your head, the left hand will go off. Okay, so now what I want you to do, you have your feet spread, you've got the basketball here. Let's pretend we have a ball. And what we would do is we will go straight up and get a good extension and good follow through and release the imaginary basketball. Ready? Up. Good. All right, now what we'll do, Milt, if you'll pick up your basketball there, what we're going to do is we'll shoot back and forth to each other, and again we'll work in a buddy system that Jeff and I are going to work together. If he doesn't have good backspin on the shot, then I'm going to tell him. If I don't have good extension, he will tell me as we study each other's shot going back and forth. Good spin, Jeff. Try to hold your follow through until your partner catches the basketball. The simplest way to shoot the basketball is to not to have it broken down into several parts. And if you can make it one continuous move all the way up, it's much simpler to do. In this drill here, what you see our players doing, they're still working on form shooting. They're shooting the ball up against each side of the backboard. You're going to see a full extension of the elbow. You're going to see a full unlocking of the wrist. And both of them are also checking the ball to make sure that they have good backspin on the shot. They'll do this 8 or 10 times, and we do this every single day when we come out to practice. This has been every player we've had here at Kansas, every player at North Carolina, whether it's James Worthy, Michael Jordan, Kevin Pritchard, or these two youngsters here, Jeff Geldner and Milt Newton. Okay, fellas, now start shooting in close. We normally start out with about 2 feet. Use the backboard, shoot a couple in. Again, still emphasize your form. Good extension, good follow through. And now what you're trying to do is groove it in even a little bit more. And then you can start moving back. You can move a little bit side to side. You don't have to shoot it back off the board all the time. Again, you'll see that they're still going to have the full extension and the full follow through. Good backspin on the shot. After our form shooting and shooting where we start in close and start moving out, then we bring our toss backs in where we start working the drills with our toss back. You can see what we're doing here is passing the basketball into the toss back and going straight up into the shot. We believe our offensive philosophy is that most of our shots are going to come off passes. There's no hesitation. The guys pass it into the middle of the toss back, they get it back, go straight up into the shot. We think we can do this type of drill and get a great number of shots in a very short period of time. We can have as many as 6 players doing this instead of the 2 that you see right now and get a lot of shots. We record all of these shots once we get started into our practice after we spend a great deal of time working on the form and building our habits the proper way. So many times in a game of basketball, when you do receive the pass, the defensive man will come running out at you So we work a lot on faking that shot and then taking one hard dribble either way and going up and shooting the jump shot there. When we're doing this, we make sure our guys feel their pivot foot so they're not walking, and at the same time they're planting their inside foot if they're going to the side and exploding up and shooting the basketball. Fake the shot, one hard dribble, go up and knock it in. During all of this, we're still thinking of making sure that we do the 4 basic things: good balance, good concentration, good extension, good follow through. If you do these and work at it every single day, you're going to improve yourself as a shooter, and if you want to be a great shooter, then you have a chance to do it by following all these drills.
The North Carolina System. An inside look at one of basketball's greatest programs with Dean Smith, Eddie Fogler, and Roy Williams is a Converse production.